hello, who are you and where are you from?
I'm Juliette. I grew up in the East Bay in Orinda.
And I'm Erin. I grew up in the East Bay in Walnut Creek.
All right,
Yeah.
and what do you do?
We are both nurses in pediatrics.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And has the climate changed at all since you were a kid?
I would say definitely.
Yeah.
I notice now as an adult, like we always had a few warmer weeks in the East Bay over the summer growing up, like where it would reach 100, and now it's like constantly that warm out there during those months. And
I feel like the fire season has just become such a bigger thing than it was for us growing up. It wasn't something that you thought about much, and now it's a huge consideration, especially for people that are trying to find places to buy homes, and it just becomes a much bigger thought, and it happens for so many more months out of the year.
Wow. And this winter was wild.
yes, yeah, all the storms this winter was very different than
especially in
That's
San
been in the
Francisco,
past.
that just isn't equipped to deal with that kind of rain, that kind of flooding. When we do have the warmer times, San Francisco is just not equipped for any of that.
Yeah.
All right, and then what about on an everyday basis? Do you think about climate much, and say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most concerned, where do you put yourself?
I mean, I do think I think about climate change frequently, and especially like Juliette said, during those, like we're getting into summer now, and that's when you start thinking about like the wildfires frequently.
Yeah.
And in that case, I would say yes, like very concerned, like 8 or 9 probably.
Yeah, and probably just because for things to get better, everyone can obviously do their each individual parts, but it's going to take a really big group effort for things to make much more progress.
And so, what about the future? Are you optimistic or pessimistic, and is there anything we can do about it?
I am more, I think, just an optimistic person in general. So
Yeah, leaning towards optimistic.
hopeful, but yeah, like she said, there has to be huge change, and also I know it can't come from, we live in such a bubble here where I do think people think about it a lot more frequently than maybe people have
In other states or other countries.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's such like a culture of people starting their own business and apps and things here just in the Bay and Silicon Valley, and so I do think that there's a lot of companies that are up and coming where the founders and people that are high up in the companies are thinking about climate change and are trying to incorporate in their message and how they run their companies, but it is just going to take a lot more than just those companies, just the individual
and huge
actions of
corporations
people.
are really like the big contributors, and they need to, you know, in addition to everyone doing their small part, like they need to take responsibility and change their ways.
And probably somehow get on the same page with other countries, which is probably one of the harder tasks to do.
Yeah.
So I'm mystified. Optimistic or pessimistic?
Optimistic. Overall, optimistic. I think we have learned so much in like my lifetime.
Yeah.
Things that we can do differently and better, and hopefully we continue to learn and continue to make those changes.
And just continue to educate everyone.
Very good. On the 15th of April here in San Francisco, California. Thank you very much.